name's Stephen Bell. I'm the Associate Conductor of Hallé, and this is our return visit for us to Jodrell Bank. We were first here about 5 or 6 years ago, and the orchestra were here in 2018, but not with me, so it's nice to be back in 2019 for this festival, and particularly this year. I think the fact that there is that great anniversary of the 50th anniversary of the moon landing, and as we're standing here in the shadow of this magnificent building, there's something going to be really special about appearing here this weekend. Is there life out there? That's the $6 million question, I suppose, isn't it? I guess when you do look up at the night sky, it kind of makes you feel rather insignificant. I'm sure that's a bit of a hackneyed, maybe it's too obvious a response, I don't know. There must be. I can't believe that in the vast universe that's out there, we're the only kind of life force. So yeah, I suspect there is other life there, and whether they're looking at us going, what's going on, I don't know. But yeah, it's really fascinating, isn't it, to think that it's not just us. It's such a historic venue, this, isn't it? I think there's so much of the history and the science here, which is being celebrated all weekend. And to perform the music that we're performing tonight in the shadow of the telescope, yes, it makes it a very special event indeed. I remember watching this at school. Yes, I'm that old. I was at primary school, and we all huddled around the telly in the hall to watch the actual moon landing. And I think I must have been, if that's 50 years ago, I must have been about 7, coming up 8 years old. And as a boy, that kind of really triggered off all kinds of emotions, which now it's the 50th anniversary, seems to be kind of coming back to us all. It's particularly special, of course it is. This weekend at BLUEDOT is all about a celebration of lots of things. It's the combination of music and of science, and the programme that Hallé are doing tonight, we're featuring TV and film music from the last 50 years as well, all with a science fiction base, all that triggers some kind of emotion in the same way that when you think about the moon landings 50 years ago, it kind of brings back the feeling of where you were at the time. I'm sure many of us will remember what we were doing at the time. But quite often with film music in particular, it sort of brings back an emotion. It takes you back to where you were when you first saw the film. And although we're not showing the films tonight, we're showing some other footage alongside the soundtracks that we're playing. Yeah, it really does kind of capture the emotion and takes it to another level, I think. So our programme tonight covers 50 years of cinema and film from some of the greatest cinema composers ever, featuring, of course, John Williams. You can't do a sci-fi programme without mentioning the great John Williams, with a couple of extracts from the obvious, I guess, that we had to include some of the Star Wars. But we're also going to feature some other composers too, the likes of Jerry Goldsmith and Star Trek and Alien. And for my money, one of my all-time favourite movie soundtracks, which is Independence Day, David Arnold's wonderful score for his 1996 film. So that's our kind of big finale tonight. And along with the visuals they're projecting on the big screen, and we've got 90 players of the Hallé here, I think we're in for quite a night. Yeah. What does a beautiful, perfect world look like to me? Gosh, that's a really hard question to answer when you're in the middle of a field in the shadow of an iconic building such as this. We've got to preserve, haven't we? I mean, that seems to be the big thing at the moment, that everybody's talking about, looking after the planet that we're being trusted to look after. And as we mentioned earlier, there's obviously far more out there than perhaps we even know. And we're only guardians of this planet while we're on it. So I think if there's one message from all of this, we need to look after where we live.